Okay, got it. And let me get Sam back on now. He jumped off the train on us. All right, so everybody's back now. Um, yeah. So Sam back on now. Oh, I gotta turn the sound off of the YouTube. There we go. It's a delay and it'd be in the background. All right, so we'll just want to share a couple of things with you all. In the mornings, we've been doing an inspiration, and believe it was on yesterday morning. We did one on it's called, well, the topic of it is called boredom, anxiety, and flow, but I changed the last word to enjoyment, and talking about how certain things, the way we set up in life, we can either create boredom, uh, anxiety, or enjoyment. And part of that has to do with how we extend ourselves beyond our abilities. I think a lot of times people want to be more than what they are. And what they do is they'll take on challenges that exceed their skills or abilities to manage or to compete. And there are a couple of sports that I've played, and one I still do, and that's bowling and golf. And in bowling and golf, and these two are not the only ones I've played, but those two in particular, there's something called a handicap. And I've always, I like to analyze stuff to see why would they do that? They don't have a handicap in baseball or football or basketball. Why do they have a handicap, in golf and bowling? Well, part of it has to do with if a person has a lot of skill and always does well, and someone comes up to compete against them who doesn't have a lot of skill or ability, they will get bored real fast competing with them. But because of the handicap, that person gets an edge. So the person with the skill has to even sometimes outperform their abilities just to compete with someone who has lesser ability because of the impact that handicap has on how their game is scored. And the same in golf. Uh, and I have a couple of friends who taken lessons from another real close friend of mine. I call him my little brother, and he used to be the golf coach at San Rafael High, and he's now in Nevada. But he has two preacher friends I know. He's teaching them how to play golf, and they're always trying to compete with him. And one says he competes with him because he thinks that's making him better, but he never even gets close to beating him. And I told Ron today to tell them, watch my class from Tuesday morning. They always want to, not take the handicap and all that. And I said, tell them it's the frame of mind. People don't really understand. And I've said this a lot of times since we've been gathering over this last almost 2 years consistently. But even before that, and I tell people all the time, your mindset affects you in a way you don't even realize, because people don't really understand how powerful the mind is. If you are competing against someone that you have not the skill to meet the challenge of their skill, it will cause anxiety and disappointment because you're always trying, and then it'll make you become careless, and you won't even concentrate on doing things right because you'll become frustrated. And then a person who has the skill doesn't want to play a person who doesn't have the skill because they beat them so easy. It's boredom. There's no excitement in it. And so in order to have excitement in life, you got to learn how to, first of all, set goals that are attainable, but also that cause you to stretch a bit, to improve your skill. Work, take on a task that that there's a possibility you can complete it, but you're gonna have to work a little bit. My grandmother used to tell me, I told her one time, "Mother, I'm doing the best I can, She said, boy, stop doing the best you can and strive to do the best you can be done. That meant what? You got to stretch yourself sometimes. And as we're studying in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs is very relevant. Bishop and I had a little conversation today about that. What they taught in the Bible and what they preached, and the things that we read, the Old Testament was written for the New Testament saints to establish them in the Word. The New Testament saints wrote in order for what? To tell us what it was going to be like in our time, because of how the world was going to be and how they were going to reject the word of God and reject, salvation and reject Jesus Christ and all. And so we're living what they were foretelling. And we have to really, stop trying to, what's the word I'm saying? Overachieve, but learn how to, not seek to just be comfortable and do what's easy, but set goals that are attainable, but that also will cause us to work a bit. Anything that comes too easy, you don't appreciate it. It is those things you work for, those things you have to strive for, those things that you make some sacrifices that you really come to appreciate the attaining of those goals and aspirations. And as we see in where we are in Proverbs now, they're telling us, there's a certain behavior you got to have. There's a certain attitude, and there are rewards to that. And too often, I think that we don't take enough stock in what our real potential is in God. We all have a great potential. There are a couple of people who were in my life to this day. I appreciate because they pushed me, they stretched me. One was my grandmother, and the other was Pastor James Davis. Those two individuals pushed me to study, pushed me to read, and one of the favorite things that Pastor Davis would say, read the book, read the book, read the book, and that was his line, and he was the one that pulled me aside and he said, perhaps, he never called me Minister DACUS, never called me Minister Howard, never called me Elder. He always called me perhaps. I was his driver, and I didn't even know why, but I was the substitute teacher for his Bible classes. And I used to, why you always getting me to substitute? Man, he the teacher. I'm trying to learn this stuff. I'm trying to learn from him. Well, he told me one day why. And he says, I'm pushing you where you don't even know you're able to go. He says, and if I don't challenge you, he says, you love challenges and you rise to the occasion. So if I don't challenge you, you'll never even see or how do you say it? He said, you'll never realize your potential because you got to be challenged. And he's right, and every time, there's a challenge or someone poses a question, I immediately go into study mode. I'm focused, and one of the reasons I stopped playing the organ was because I studied so much and I wanted to teach and preach, and people wouldn't call me to preach or teach. They'd call me to play the organ. So I stopped playing the organ, because I tell them I'm not an organist that's trying to preach. I'm a preacher that just happened to be able to play the organ, but that was why, but I shouldn't have stopped either one, because that was a gift too. I've never taught. I went on a fast to learn how to play the organ. And, we don't realize our potential until we rise to the challenge, take advantage of the occasion and the opportunity. Meet it head on. And fear is not our friend, but we can turn fear into our friend by allowing fear to become our fuel for excellence. and pushing yourself to attain, put things just out of your reach and learn how to stretch yourself so that eventually you reach it. And the more you stretch and the more you attain and the more you reach, the more you'll realize that there is great potential. The Holy Spirit doesn't come in us and upon us just so that we can quote scriptures, just so we can, show people we know how to find something in the Bible, but can't explain it. The Holy Spirit is our guide. It's our teacher. It's our fuel. It's our motivator, and it's our seal and our redemption. So we have to allow ourselves to reach those potentials, but don't bite off more than you can chew. The elephant may look big and it may look like too much to eat, but if you cut him up and preserve him, and put him up over time while he can stay fresh, you're gonna freeze some of them, throw him out. But when you do, you're gonna eat him one bite at a time. And that's how you got to take life, one bite at a time. Take it as it comes, take it in stride. One thing that today encouraged me too, I was sitting there talking with my cousin, and he said, "Cuz, you just got to be realistic about this." He says, we all going this way. You got to accept it. If it happened, it happened. He said, if it don't, it's fine. He says, yeah, I want to be around another 4 or 5 years. I want to have more time with my grandchildren. He said, but if I can't, I'm not going to be upset or, mad at God. And he says, listen, man, I can't even drive no more. I got 2 cars out there. I can't drive. Somebody else has to come drive me and take me here and take me there, And he said, but the reality is I'm still here. So whatever it is, I'll do what I can. And that's, we got to take life like that. There is a reality in that. Why are we so unnerved about what we can't do or what's unattainable, and we are missing out on all of this that we can do and that we already have possession of? Life, health, strength, still got our faculties. The cancer's attacking his brain now, but he can still think. He still remembers stuff. He held a very intelligent, lucid conversation with me today for an hour and a half. So, there's still something to draw from, to tap into. But let's not let ourselves get caught up in a life of boredom or anxiety and frustration, but do those things that cause us to be able to enjoy life. Life is difficult. And the more we live life, the more we realize how difficult it is. And the more difficulties we face and the more God blesses us to overcome them, the one thing we really come to realize is once we understand and come to terms that life is difficult, it's not difficult anymore, because now we're ready to face the challenges and to use our skills, our lessons, our instructions to navigate through to success and enjoy life. Don't let the things that you can't do stop you from doing the things you can do. And one of the things my bishop said before he died, he started a saying 6 months before he died. He says, the best time you have is the time you have. And Solomon said that in Ecclesiastes. He says, listen, of all this, we can't figure out the beginning or ending of God, his going or coming. We don't know what it is. He said, but one thing I do know, get all the good you can out of your life and enjoy all of the fruit of your labor, because that's the one thing you can do. You can enjoy the life you have and make the most out of it, because the best time you have is the time you have. All right, I made 20 minutes today, Sam. All right, I'm done with the monologue. I'm gonna open the floor now. And thank you all for joining. It's a joy and a pleasure, as always, to have you all on. And you all really bring joy and excitement to my life, because I look forward to these moments with you all every day. I don't take it for granted. Um, I think that I'm blessed because you all want to come on and hear, what the Lord has to say through me. And I appreciate all of you. And I just want y'all to know that. And I said, I'm gonna do something. My cousin, we've always been close. But for him to call me today and to tell me all he wanted to do before he left was tell me he loved me, made me think, we have to let folks know more often. Don't wait, because everybody don't get that opportunity to say something they want to say before they leave. And I just thank God he had the opportunity. He might be here another 10 years, I pray he do. But at least he got the opportunity to say something he wanted to say, and that was from his heart. And I don't think we ought to let those opportunities leave us and pass us by without us at least acknowledging to people how we feel. And that's why, I'm keeping that appointment with my siblings every Saturday, because we got to keep in touch, stay in touch, and everybody need to know how you feel about it. All right. The floor is open. God bless y'all. Have at it.
I just wanted to make a point. You mentioned how why we get so upset about having to go this way. Everybody has to go this way. And I remember, I don't know, I probably mentioned it before, but because I'm in the process of writing, and some things come to me sometimes. And so I was trying to figure out, like, well, how to write about grief and how we process it. And so, for some of my characters that I'm writing, and so it came to me, we were never meant to experience this type of grief. We were never meant to experience death. Our
That's right.
original design was to just keep going and going and going without end. Because that's just how we were designed. And if they had partaken in the fruit of the tree of life, I'm sure we probably have that for us, but we don't. And we only have to look forward to the next life, which will keep going. So it's just interesting to me that sometimes that just that thought alone, that we weren't meant to do this, to go through this, sometimes it helps me out. And that's just for me. It helps me. It helps me remember that there's another life, and that that's what's promised to us if we keep following Jesus. So I just think it's interesting that you think about it, you're like, yeah, man, we're not designed, just like I tell people all the time, like, we're not designed to sit in a metal box and drive down the road. That's not what we were originally designed for. So if we get in a car wreck, it messes us up, even a little one. I was in at least two, but the last one the second to last one that I was in messed my back up pretty bad, even though it didn't, the impact is what messed me up. And I was a long time recovering. So think about death the same way. Our minds weren't meant for that type of impact. So when we collide like that with death, with the realization that somebody that we love has died and it's just taken from us, our minds are just, it's just not going to reconcile right away like it should. And I just thought that was interesting. And also, I think earlier you were talking about, this life is hard. And I remember I was listening to a TED Talk, and the lady was talking about stress and how everybody's always trying to avoid stress and always trying to, you need to lower your stress levels and everything. But then she said, you know what? Stress sometimes is good for us. There's a certain good, just like they say, there's good germs, there's good stress for you. Because if you never face any stress, like you think about the people who have everything, they're pampered, they have everything going for them. They're, especially with some, children, their parents shield them from everything. They don't let them do this, they don't let them do that, they don't let them experience, consequences, or just nothing bad happens to them. And then when something does happen to them and it just totally throws them all off, they don't know what to do, because they've never had any stressors. They've never had anything that will, I guess you could say, it's like working out your stress level. You need to work out every once in a while, build up those muscles. And if you've never built up those muscles, then when it hits you, you're useless at that moment. You can't help anybody. You can't even help yourself. Somebody has to come and do everything for you, because now your world's turned upside down and you haven't experienced any type of stress. So I just think it's interesting, like you said, if it's anything good that that you're looking to, or that you want, sometimes you have to work hard for it, and sometimes you're going to have to be under stress. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
She related to you?
Yeah.
If I had any doubts, now I know.
Yeah.
Some good points, Sister Devin. There's some good points. I just got one quick thought, though. You were talking about the idea about handicaps and bowling and
golf.
And I haven't really competed in golf at all. I started out and then I stopped. But bowling, I used to bowl 2 or 3 times a week. But the idea of the handicap is you have to understand these 2 sports are individual sports. And it's not a team sport like football or baseball or basketball. Baseball and basketball, it's a team sport where you have to depend on your teammates. And where these sports are individuals. Now, the handicap gives you a point to where you want to compete. Because if you don't, without the handicap, and you know that the person that you're competing against is a lot better than you, you'll never want to strive to compete. So the handicap gives you the ability to say, okay, with the handicap, I have a chance.
Right.
So I'm going to compete and I'm going to do my best. So you have to be pushed in order to do better. You find people that are good at what they do, but if they're not pushed and they're not pushed to the point where they have to strive to get even better, they won't be no more than what they are. So the same thing with we are taught what God has designed us to do is to get better, not to. That's why He gave us this thing called freedom of choice, and to make us to understand that you have to make the right decisions. That you suffer the consequence of the decisions that you make. So, what you have my grandmother used to tell me. She said, "Boy, you already came in with 2 strikes already. So why are you trying to get a 3rd one?" I said, I used to look at her, what was she talking about? But she said, you were born into a world where you already have 2 strikes against you already.
Yep.
So she said, you have to understand that you have to strive to make yourself better than what you think you are. And see, this is what I think God had in store for us, is that we would try to strive, that we have to push ourselves to strive to get better than what we are. And if you have a handicap, and you understand that you have a handicap, but the handicap is to reverse the odds when you talk about those sports. But you have to understand that you do have a handicap. And regardless of what that handicap is, you have to strive to get better than what you are.
Yep.
It's an individual. I tell people all the time, this life is an individual journey. Even though you have a partner, someone with you, I can't save you. I can only point you in the right direction. That's why Paul says, "Save thyself." This is an individual thing.
All righty. Anyone else? Pastor Samuel, we haven't heard from you.
All quiet.
I'm just listening and taking it all in. And it's amazing that, last night we had a Bible study lesson and the subject was blessings because of mourning, MOUR. So, but I don't have a lot to right now. I have so much going on and I've been swamped all day and I got 2 more meetings after this. So I'm just taking it all in and enjoying uh, listening. You do get 2 ears for a reason.
That's what mother said. Yep. 2 ears and 1 mouth. Yep. Well, I want to comment, Devin, that was very, very powerful that you said. And, and the fact is, I don't remember when it was, but it was some years ago. We talked about the difference of life now as opposed to the original design. There was a whole lot that, we weren't designed for, that we weren't designed to get sick. We weren't designed to die. We weren't designed to kill one another. We weren't designed for wickedness. I mean, there were so many things that came into our existence because of the introduction of sin, and so many things that we didn't avoid because of the fact that the devil introduced something into the mix that caused life to totally change for us. Our existence totally changed. And yes, it's still in our original design. And some people are still, holding on to, they don't want to die. They figure out how to eat right and how to live right, that they can avoid death or escape death naturally. Well, that would have been the expectation. And you remember when they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God said, we have to put man now forth out of the garden before he eat of the tree of life and live forever. Because we're really going to be messed up if we got an eternal living being who's, got all this wickedness now in him. And once that seed of wickedness was planted, he had to put us out of the garden to keep this from happening. So, yeah, you're right. We weren't even designed for death. And, it's a lot of things, too, that we have taken on simply because of the knowledge of good and evil and what it did to mankind. And when I was studying, how the mind works, it was so interesting for me to discover all of the different physiological changes that a human body goes through simply because of their thoughts. Some people they have what's called psychosomatic illnesses, where they can be tested, find nothing wrong with them, but they exhibit all of the symptoms of a certain illness, and they later discover it was all in their head. It's all in their mind. You could think yourself something. What's the saying? If a man think himself to be something, when he is not, he deceiveth himself. But he think it. And everybody looking at him and said, what's wrong with him? Well, he's trying to convince everybody that he is what he says he is. The Bible says he deceiving himself. And the mind is very, very powerful and manipulative. And this is why people can be manipulated by manipulating their thoughts. This was the whole the weapon called propaganda that they used during a couple of the world wars, especially World War II, and dropping leaflets down and making certain announcements. This is why I don't really trust the news. depending on which news medium you listen to, they're gonna tell the same story 10 different ways. And you know, but they're talking about the same people, the same incident. But if you listen to all 10 of them, you can be confused because none of them give you all the facts correctly. And you wonder, like, okay, what really happened here? That's a ploy of the enemy and the wicked to keep people confused. And we were talking yesterday in Proverbs where he says that people use words to incite others to violence, and you know, bringing up old stuff that should stay buried, and bringing up something that somebody else said, and then using the guys, well, you know, as your friend. I thought I need to tell you this. No, why are you telling, you know, me this as my friend when you already know it's going to cause me to do something I shouldn't do, or it's going to create some havoc or cause a war, you know, or conflict. Some things we have to learn how to, I think Paquita posted it yesterday, learning to have the gift of silence. Well,
Yeah, people need to learn how to be fluent in silence.
That's
they
it.
Learn how to be fluent in other language. Learn how to be quiet.
Yeah, better to be quiet. Learn to be fluent in silence.
Ooh. Ooh.
She wrote that was on one of her comments yesterday when I was talking. People need to be fluent in silence.
I need that on a shirt, Sister Quit.
Hey, that's a good idea for a shirt.
Wow.
Some people need to be fluent in silence. What was that song some years ago? They used to play a song. I forget who wrote the song, but who sung it. But the words was, "You talk too much, you just worry me to death." He said, "You talk too much." And some people,
you never shut up.
Yeah, you never shut up. That's it. And they just talk, never shut up, you know. And then there are the people, you ever notice there's always somebody amongst your group. I don't care what the conversation is about. They know something about it, and they've had an experience, and they got to have a comment on every topic that's brought up in the group, you know. But yeah, people need to become fluent in silence. That was a good one, Quit.
No, huh? I had to tell Fifi that one time. Everybody started liking it.
Yeah, that's a good saying.
Yeah.
You need to be fluent in silence.
Daddy told, you know, like I had told y'all before, he said, you know, just listen and observe. And then, you know, some people just talk too much and don't even know what they're talking about. Themselves.
Mm. And sometimes they will miss good information because they're over talking or out talking everybody.
Exactly.
And then they'll be the very one that say, "Now what happened? What was we supposed to be doing? What did they say? What if you'd have shut up? You'd have heard."
Yeah, and see, and right now I'm still waiting on the opportunity to throw something on that you taught me. You know, don't be trying to give me no interpretation or anything, and I already know the revelation of it. I'm waiting.
My sister going wrong with it today. Woo, Lord, I better give me some Band-Aids. I just got cut.
Draw blood. She's drawing blood.
Yeah. She done went Dracula on us.
She done pulled that knife out.
It's just that I get annoyed with people that just, you know, always talking, and, you know, you really need to just be quiet sometimes and just listen.
Yep.
You know, you just talking too much, and that irritates me and get on my last nerve. That's why, you know, I'm a quiet person now. I just like to, you know, listen, because you'll learn something if you close your mouth.
She done took that knife out that purse, Sam.
Woo. She done been to too many family reunions. It sounds like you must have been to one of my family reunions.
Well, you know what? When I go to my family reunions, I talk to a few people. Usually I sit with the older people. I won't even sit with my group. And then you know, I do like to dance, and I can dance. And I'll get up and learn them steps. You know how your family do the steps to all the different music.
Yeah.
So I'll get up in there. If I know it, I'll do the steps or learn the steps, you know. But other than that, I'll talk and socialize with them, but I'll go sit at the table with the older folks. I don't like being around, crazy and talking and all that stupid stuff.
Yep. I like hanging with the older people too, because they talk sense and you learn something.
Yeah.
Old people are great.
Huh?
I said old people are great. They do some of the craziest stuff and they get away with it.
Yep. Yep. And they know how to say stuff real nice and be nasty.
Uh-huh.
We sure
Especially
can.
those southern ones.
Oh yeah. They know how.
I'm not one to sit around and deal with that because I know my tolerance level and I don't want to, go left when I need to stay straight. So, because I just don't like it.
Your mic off, Sam. We can't hear you.
Well, I said, so she learned the language of silence. So she's studying that language.
Yeah, she's fluent.
Man,
That's
I'm only
right.
partially fluent. No, not even partially fluent. I only know some French.
Oh,
She over there fluent in a whole nother language I don't even know.
wow. Yep. This one lady, the young lady I talked about last night, she said she had already got the guy verbally and could have just left it alone because she had already won. Everybody was telling him, yeah, she told you, saying, and he kept talking. She said, and I said, I'm gonna leave him alone because I don't want. She said, but it's her ego. She just kept talking, and it ended up being a physical confrontation. She said she learned that night. I should have just been quiet. Sometimes we have to realize that what we call winning isn't really winning, especially when it causes someone else to do something, something stupid. Yeah, let's put it that way. If you've had your say, whether they've heard you or not, I don't have to repeat it. I don't have to. Sometimes, I know we'll say I'm into some things, and sometimes, and they'll go, what'd you say? I said, oh, I said it. I'm done with it now. It's not even worth repeating, because to continue to push something, especially when you're talking to people who are looking for a reason to get angry and upset, if you want the fire to go out, you can't keep throwing logs on it.
That's Proverbs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, says where there's no wood, the fire go out.
Oh, okay.
I'm paraphrasing on that.
But
yeah,
that's true. But that's true. If you want to go out, I remember one time, we used to every year during the winter, especially, we would light the fireplace. I still got a whole bunch of firewood out there, and I remember one year I had made a nice fire, and company had left, and I told them, I said, well, let's let this fire go out, and we can go on to bed. And the fire's going down, and she walked over there, grabbed the log. I said, what you doing? I'm finna put another log. I said, why you don't put a log on the fire? We trying to let the fire go out. I ain't trying to sit down here, because, them logs, ones we have, nice sized log, they burn for a couple of hours. And, and even when they finish, you don't leave embers unattended.
Mm-hmm.
I douse them out. Yeah, I take water and
Just
kill them. Because, you can leave embers. Their wind, a draft can come down the chimney. And especially, we had a guard over there, but even with the guard, It can blow embers in. You start a fire with your carpet, curtains, furniture. You have to be careful. So, but when you're trying to suppress a fire, or trying to, calm a storm, you don't always want to add fuel because that's just going to make it worse. We're trying to diffuse a situation. We're not trying to incite a riot. And that's why a lot of times people say the wrong thing at the wrong time. And I know that was one of the things I used to have an issue with my mother about. And, mama would just blurt it out. I said, Mama, you didn't have to say it was the truth. But Mama, just because it's true, don't mean you. Well, they shouldn't. But Mama, don't you be the issue.
About my mama. Stop talking about my mama. You
Did
talk
what?
about both our mamas, because they both do. Did,
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because mama, sometimes I wish mama would. I'm like, why do you have to get up, say something, and preach? Please.
We was at the church. On 55th. I can't think of the name of it. We used to go there, and your daddy was preaching, and they was running a little late. Lord have mercy. And I'm there because I'm supporting my pastor, first lady. you can't be late around neither of them two women. Oh Lord.
No, I'm gonna say if it's supposed to start at a certain time, it's supposed to start at a certain time. She don't care who ain't there.
And she sure said something too.
Yep. And you're right. And when she had words, even if she got a good thing to say, she got to get her fuss in.
Yeah.
Barbara Jean did the same thing at Grady Harris's church.
You must be talking about Mother Milligan.
Yeah. We talking about Mother Milligan and Mother Nathan.
Mama did the same thing at Grady Harris's because we went there for his appreciation one year and they was running late. They was waiting on him.
Yep.
And she said, well, what if he don't show up? Just as loud. And I'm in the pew and I'm doing like this. He's not with me. So they ain't learned that silence thing yet.
No. And Mama would say something like, well, God ain't waiting on him. So what y'all waiting for?
Oh my goodness. That's some old school people.
Oh yeah. They definitely was old school.
They didn't believe in CP time.
Yeah.
No. They'll tell you ain't no such thing as no CP time.
Exactly.
So it's Proverbs 26 and 20.
Oh, okay. Man, we haven't got there yet.
You'll remember when you get there.
Yeah, when we get there. But I've always, I've been a timely person. And I'll start, anything that I'm over, in charge of, the head of, we start on time. I don't wait on folks. I'm not waiting on late folks. And I can't tell this story because it involves my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, we're gonna, we keep trying to keep you out of trouble.
I know, so I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway.
But I got to roll. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Okay, bro. Take care, man. Love you, man. We talk to you later.
I'm not going back. I got another meeting. Two of them.
Another meeting. Oh, okay. You got two. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hosting both of them.
All right, bro. Take care.
You better not be late.
All right, bye-bye.
Baba Jean gonna get you. And Mother Milligan. So, and lateness and tardiness, we hold people sometime too long. And I don't know what this mentality is, especially after all of this time we've had with the pandemic. Pastors still haven't learned that you don't have to be in church 2.5, 3 hours. Online, they have what's called the power of the mouse or the finger or the keyboard. Click, they switch to something else. I preached to church the other Sunday and they started at 11. They got me up at 1 o'clock.
Oh no.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. and then told me just 15 or 20 minutes, Elder. That's all. I'm the main speaker.
15 to 20 minutes.
15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, that's
Devin,
some mitigated gall.
Devin, I gave him a hot 12 minutes and 1 minute of commentary and sat down. It's 1:15. We were supposed to have an altar call, an announcement, and one other thing, and dismiss. You know what time they dismissed?
2 o'clock.
2:35.
That's a mess.
I said I could have went on and preached the whole message.
Yeah.
15
I'm
to
gonna say
20
people
minutes.
they don't want to hear the message. They just want to hear people sing a lot of times, making a bunch of noise, and
Yep.
then want to tiptoe out when it's time to hear the word.
Yep.
You need to
That's
hear
the
the
main
word, not the singing.
And they will just do stuff. I call them service time fillers. They just do stuff just to keep service going. And a lot of times they're blaming it, or the Holy Ghost is here now. Because some people don't feel like they've had church unless they've had an emotional experience. Let me just put it that way. But you can have an emotional experience without the fanfare.
You can have emotional experience when you go to the park or to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
see a movie. You
Yeah.
can have an emotional experience then.
I have an emotional experience when I go to the gas station and gas is $5.
For real, that's too high.
Yeah, I have an emotional experience.
Your
I
wallet
drive
does
all the
too.
way to 150th. It's called Bayfair Gas Station.
Oh yeah.
Just
yeah.
to get my gas for $3.77.
Hey, there you go. I'm telling you.
But that's not far from me. So
right. And I got a couple of those spots. Now I have a flex fuel. My truck is a flex fuel, and there's a flex fuel station. Gas $3.29 a gallon. I go to the flex fuel station.
The cheapest we done found is $3.99.
I get $3.29 for flex, and the flex fuel is 110 octane. It's
well,
80.
I used to go to Costco to get the gas, but then I found out that, hey, this gas station cheaper than Costco. Let me go here.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, you got to find your spots, pick them, because I've seen the same gas truck go to 5 different stations.
Yeah.
And I've seen one time I sat down there at Chevron in Richmond, and I saw all these different trucks, Shell, Arco, I forget the name of the other one, Chevron, all them tanker trucks going into the Chevron Chevron refinery, filling up their tanks to go fill up the tanks at the gas station.
Yeah.
They get all their gas from the same refinery. Now, I had a friend that worked there. He said, well, yeah, and they put a different mix additive in the Shell. They put another additive in the Chevron, and they got another additive. And then, for the Arco, all of them get different, stuff, but it's the same gasoline out of the same refinery.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, they getting us. In California, so when I went to Mississippi, the gas there was $2.69.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was $4.99 here then.
Yeah, they over there hurting, talking about, oh, it's over $2. I said, shut your mouth. It's almost or it is $4 and something cents over here, and they just pass out.
Man, and yeah, they passing out over $2.69.
I remember when it was 99 cents.
I know that's right.
Girl, I remember when it was 80-something cent. That's when
I started driving. Premium was 28 cents. Huh?
When I first started driving, it was 80 something cents.
Yep. When I started, premium was 28 cents a gallon.
Ooh.
Yep.
My mama, she hit a U-turn when she saw the 99 cents at a Shell across from the mall in Fresno. I remember it to this day. She just went, and when she 99 cents.
Yeah. Yes, Lord. They had a station one day. They had changed the price on the machines, and they had mistakenly changed the super to 40, because it was like $4.30 then. They had changed it to 43 cents. And one of my daughters, oh, she was calling everybody. Everybody was running over there filling up. And then they all day long, people was over there and they were wondering, why are we selling so much premium? We ain't never sold this much premium. And it was around 7 o'clock. And somebody went over there and they went in and paid for the gas, and they filled it up. It was only like $8 or something, $10, and you come out and the guy says, man, I'm sure selling a lot of premium. And instead of the guy says, just saying, oh yeah, he just said, oh yeah, because it's only 43 cents a gallon.
Oh, I'm sure that hurt.
And the guy turned the pump off. There was people pumping it, and the pumps just stopped because he shut down the premium pumps, shut them down, and went back out there and changed it. All that day, they were selling premium gas for 43 cents a gallon.
Ooh, that's a bad day for him.
Oh, that was a bad day. That was a bad day.
Yeah.
Yep. But that don't happen often.
No.
Well, all right, y'all. Our time is up. Thank you all for joining. We won't be on tomorrow morning. I've got to leave here at 5 to go to Sacramento to do a job, and I'm gonna work all day. And if I can't get back in time, I'll post up about 4 o'clock, whether or not I'll be able to get on. Quick. I got everybody's phone number but yours.
I sent you that through an email a while back, but I'll send it again.
Okay, send me your phone number so I have it.
Okay.
All right. So you all have a good evening. Thanks again for joining. God loves you and I love you. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. And y'all keep praying for me.
All right. You do the same for me.
I will.